Tim Burton grew up enjoying art and watching horror films as a kid. This then developed into a love of animation as he studied at the California Institute of Art. After graduating, he became an animator at Disney, where he made the film Frankenweenie in 1984. Unfortunately, he soon got fired for having too morbid and dark ideas for Disney's target audience. Luckily, shortly after that, Burton made his first feature-length film, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This was the beginning of his career of becoming an author. The first reason I believe Tim Burton is an author is his distinct Gothic animation style. Burton's animation style can be instantly recognised by many worldwide and is considered a classic due to films such as The Nightmare Before Christmas. His characters, despite looking borderline scary, almost always find a way into our hearts. The way Burton makes an audience pair with what at first they fear is a mark of his genius. This also brings me to my next reason, Burton's common use of the theme of outcasts. In Edward Scissorhands and Alice in Wonderland, Burton creates characters who can be perceived as different and outsiders. I believe the way that Burton creates this is very special, as at first, everyone surrounding these characters seems repulsed and confused. But as the plot progresses, Burton allows the story to play out and explain that they were merely just misunderstood. This is extremely clever as it is relatable to the target audience, teenagers. Teens relate to this due to their confusion of growing up and also discovering who they are. Another reason why Tim Burton is an author is his contrast in mise-en-scene. In some films, Tim prefers a dark Gothic approach, whereas in others he prefers a bright psychedelic look. The Gothic-styled films reflect Tim's early inspiration and also almost always create a bittersweet aspect, as a positive children's story paired with the aesthetic creates a diverse mood. In comparison, some of Burton's films, such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, also convey irony, but in a different light. In Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the protagonist, Willy Wonka, has father issues. This, paired with the childhood aesthetic that he surrounds himself with, creates irony and a deeper meaning in the storyline. A more detailed and cinematic way in which Tim Burton is an auteur is through his use of light and colour. An example of his use of light is in Halloweenland, where light is used to divert attention and create a gloomy aspect. But I believe a more important way Tim Burton adds detail is through colour. In Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton recreates Mad Hatter using a gloomy, morbid colour tone. This makes the character seem scary and allows Burton to create a larger backstory. This is a common theme in Burton's work. The use of desaturated colours is consistent and allows him to create his trademark Gothic theme. A common theme in Burton's storyline is the idea of rich and poor. An example is in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where Charlie, the protagonist, lives in extreme poverty and is happy, whereas Veruca Salt is extremely rich but also extremely sour and unhappy with anything but the best. And finally, a way in which Burton uses film storytelling to his advantage is through his use of flashbacks. He uses these to tell greater detail and contextual information, such as conflicts and tragedies. This is a clever way of deepening the story while also having the flexibility of giving information exactly when it is needed.